Where was Gondor? Hey, what up guys, it was Fish here and welcome back to some more Rise of Mordor action. Today we have a awesome scenario up against Dale on one side and we have Isengard and Harad on the other side. I also quickly need to mention, I love the way Isengard have formed up their forces over there in a real nice like tight proper formation. That looks really cool indeed. So yes, we are playing as Dale again today. I am going to be trying to make these Rise of Mordor videos as interesting as possible. Obviously you guys know that I only have these two factions, this faction Dale, Gondor, and a few other like small units in the YouTuber preview which we got given, so it's going to be hard to continually make battles feel fresh and interesting, but I'm going to be trying my best for sure to try and make that happen for you guys. And to do that, I'm going to be trying to have some like fun scenarios which will create, some of them will have twist endings, some of them won't, and I'll just try and do that because you guys seem to be dropping so much love on this that I kind of want to keep on, you know, pumping out these Rise of Mordor videos as long as you guys are finding them interesting and exciting. And obviously as soon as more information drops, you know, in a couple months time or whatever on more Rise of Mordor stuff, I will be one of the first people to let you guys know for sure. As you guys have been showing so much love to these Rise of Mordor videos. So yes, today, the scenario is for today that Gondor have abandoned the men of Dale. They were supposed to come and send an army on this really cool mountainy map. Like, look at our hill. If we just zoom out quickly, this is like a really cool hill map. We've got loads of mountains in the background, so it kind of feels like we are in Dale. So basically, the men of Gondor, who are supposedly supposed to send an army to come and aid the men of Dale, they were severely outnumbered by a huge, if we speed up the camera and take a look at it, we are up against a huge force of 6,000 men of Harad, which are currently being peppered away at the moment. These guys are going to be rushing forward, and we also gave them a ton of experience. You can see they all have golden chevrons, so even though that, you know, these soldiers of Harad aren't normally that great, they're just like the kind of grunt units, with golden experience they should be more than enough to start ripping through our battle line for sure. And then we have as you guys saw back here, we have a pretty mighty army of Isengard. We're full of Uruk swordsmen. And I think we gave them a few pikemen as well. So yeah, these guys are definitely not to be messed with, and they're going to be dangerous as they advance. And again, I love how like the grunt units back here are kind of like running forward. The Harad soldiers and kind of Isengard are just marching forward. So yeah, as I said, Gondor was supposed to send troops, they did not. So Dale are up against it. They are holding the line, holding the mountaintop by themselves. They are severely outnumbered, and it's going to be an interesting battle for sure. I also, as I said, made sure to give them so much experience and XP, so let's completely speed up the camera and then we'll get this battle straight underway. I feel like you guys don't need to really see the units anymore. I've got a pretty, you know, diverse army. I have some pretty interesting swordsmen up front. We'll go, yeah, make sure we're clicking on play. I have some some pretty weak militia up front. These guys are here just to kind of break the charges as they do come in, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case. They're going to absorb like a lot of the damage coming in. And as we go back, we have my swordsmen as they're forming shield wall right now. And then behind that we have these archers. Oh no, we have some Vineland swordsmen. And then we have the marksmen of Dale right now as they just unleash hell. And again, look at the threat of Isengard just coming in slowly. I think that is so cool just seeing Isengard move up. So here we go, the first engagement right here. These weak Lake Town militia are going to be fighting against the Harad. But do remember that the Harad do have golden chevrons. So that's going to make them so potent in melee combat. They're going to kind of go toe-to-toe with a lot of the units I have. So this is going to be such a difficult battle, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hold off. I also recommend staying right to the end because, as I mentioned previously, some of these battles will have twist endings, so make sure to keep an eye out for them twist endings. So yeah, this isn't a super long battle, so you should be able to stick around right towards the end to watch this one for sure. So the initial charge is going to be somewhat okay for me. I'm going to be able to deal with these Harad soldiers, but the Harad soldiers are going to be able to tire me out. You can already see they've managed to break through my militia right here, which was to no surprise of mine whilst I was commanding this battle. I really did expect these guys just to get slaughtered, and that's exactly what they did. The golden chevrons are just way too much, and they're going to be running through my line, trying to escape. But Harad seemed to be dispatching them pretty well indeed. I think that looks so sick right there with a mountain in the background. That looks like a proper, I said proper 3 times there, but a proper 4th time there. A really good Lord of the Rings backdrop right there. You got the mountains in the background. I think that looks super cool. Some of the militia did come back. They're going to be pushing to the front line. Let's go and stick it on slow-mo right now as well. We want to kind of go a nice little shot down the main battle line so you guys can really see these combats going off. If that dude just gets kicked to the ground. I goddamn love that animation right there. So let's slow up the camera a little bit and we'll go down the battle line. The nice thing is as well, by the looks of it, the replays seem to work pretty well on Rise of Mordor, as long as you don't move any units. So I think I can start doing a lot more replays. So that means I can just solely focus on these slow-mos, focus on these cool cinematic shots, and not really have to worry about the battle. Normally, even if I do cinematic shots, I don't really care how the battle really turns out because it's against the AI, so I'm not going to be there just clicking loads, trying to do the most optimal thing to abuse the AI, you know? I'll just kind of let it happen. That way it feels a lot more organic, because if I'm fighting in a battle, as we see a floating sword there, you know, if you're commanding a battle in real life, you know, there's a lot of things you don't see going on, so I kind of like to take that as, you know, when I'm doing cinematic shots and showing you guys what this looks like, that's kind of me just not paying attention to the entire battle, much like a general would. At least that's the way I kind of see it and try and tell myself. As we go up to his left flank, you can see my spear swordsman of Dale fighting pretty hard, doing a nice amount of damage. Oh, that dude just got stabbed in the chest. That was pretty brutal. I love the Dalian captains right there. Look at his sword just swinging that. He'd be able to dispatch like 4 or 5 of these men of Harad really, really easy without any issue whatsoever. I'm also wanting to start, yeah, there, you can just see it coming into shot right now, the advance. This is the scary force because they have an entire stack of these Isengard Uruks, and that's what's going to scare me. Because when these guys get involved in the battle, they are going to be more than capable of cutting through my line, especially when my infantry line have been so busy already fighting these Harad, getting tired out. And they are in shield wall as well. A lot of my men are in shield wall, so that's going to tire them out even more. Oh my god, there's so many floating Harad swords. So no one told me that they had sorcery on their side. This is obviously a new spell concocted by Saruman to scare us away from the battlefield. And here we go, there's a little glimpse of the Uruks as they get closer and closer to the battle line, pushing forward. And when these guys get stuck in, that's when the real fight begins. My general has just done a hammer and anvil strike, which we unfortunately missed. However, it was deadly. Super, super deadly. The spearmen are doing a good job here. I like to call these guys spearmen because I don't really think they are pikemen. They feel more like spearmen than they do pikemen. Okay, I think that's enough of it. Let's go and get in a good position so we can see this this amazing Uruk charge as it comes in. And I'm doing a kind of a good job. You can see on this right flank, I'm losing tons of men. These spearmen are almost down, so my right flank is starting to fail. Luckily, my archers are volleying overhead, which is good for me. However, I'm not really doing as much damage as I would like. And let's speed this up as the Uruks come charging in to the battlefield. This is when the real fighting starts. The initial fight was just fighting some, you know, mindless men of Harad. But now the Urukai are involved, and then that's when the fighting really gets serious. It's beautiful seeing the archer fire come across. And the sparkle on these shields as well, as they're holding this line for the men of Dale. They have been abandoned by Gondor, left to die. But if this is to end in fire, then I guess we shall all burn together, and Dale will go out in such a way. They will put themselves into the history books here. That when the evil came knocking, Dale did not falter. They stood to the end. And if this is to end here, then it shall be a mighty, mighty end for Dale. I mean, they are definitely cutting apart a lot of these soldiers, but they are also struggling. It really does help that they are in a defensive, you know, formation. That does help out, but it's only going to be a matter of time until these Uruks slowly start cutting against these guys. You can see both my flanks are really starting to dwindle now. This unit of Dalian spear guard back there are starting to fall, and if we take a look over on this other flank as well, you can see my center is dropping men. I'm even having to throw in my archers because this right flank has completely completely collapsed now. So because of that, these archers are having to go in and try and help out. That looks amazing right there. The sparkle on their shields. Look at that. As they are just fighting hard. The shields just glimmering with hope. However, there was only ever a false hope. And you can see the Uruks just cutting through these guys. My general is even having to go in here. We're actually going to slow-mo it again just for a couple minutes or for a minute or two as the soldiers move up and come in and try and help out. My general did have to try and hammer and anvil strike there. I love the look of the Dalian general. They kind of look like really heavily armored hoplites, but kind of like a fantasy version of hoplites. I feel like that's just how it comes across. And I do an epic last stand with this general unit. I dismount them and they charge on as one of the horsemen gets chucked from his horse. No, he does a fade in there. If only there was a foul beast to send him flying. No, general is going to fall back through these Dalian spearmen. Oh, look at that battle line right there. Look at that goddamn battle line. Wow. If that is not like-worthy, I don't know what is. That does look really, really nice. The men of Dale holding firm. The Eagles. If only the Eagles were coming right now, that'd be one of our only ways we'd actually manage to survive this battle. If the Eagles were here, ready to aid us. I am doing damage to the minor Harad units, but they just still have so many more men pouring into this combat. It is just absolutely disgusting how many forces I actually gave them. We are also playing on very hard. I do still have one unit of Vineland guard which are ready to move in, but again I'm not sure if that's going to be enough because you can just see the sheer amount of soldiers the enemy do have. It just does blow my mind a little bit. Looking back on this, maybe I shouldn't have given them this many men, but as I said, the men of Dale are no cowards as that floating spear goes flying off into the abyss. And hopefully that is exactly where we will send this Uruk army, or at least as many of them as we can. We will try our hardest to do so. Nice spear jab there. We need plenty more hits like that for us to claim victory as we continue to go down this battle line. I mean, my God, look at this. There is just so many of them, and I think my left flank now is starting to crumble. I did bring some archers over here, but these guys are going to go ahead and break. Wait, what's that? The Horn of Gondor? The men of Gondor have not betrayed us. They have sent a mighty host of Gondorian cavalry along with some silver swans as well. And these horsemen are going to come and hopefully win the day supporting their brothers in arms right here. I believe they will come in and smash these Harad onto the swords of our brothers, the men of Dale. More soldiers moving in now, sending them back to the dark abyss whence they came. The entire Gondorian cavalry force is marching round and aiding us. Warrior Sparta has not betrayed us this day, and the men of Dale rally to their king and advance forward as they see the Gondorian banners wrap round the enemy line and cut them to pieces. However, the day is not won quite yet. The men of Gondor have to be true and fight hard, and the line of Dale has to hold. More Gondorian cavalry is pouring in. It's like an undying flood right now. The Uruks are tough. They will hold the line as best they can. But the cavalry continuously pours in, completely enveloping this line. The general unit, I believe, has also dismounted, has started to move up and fight with his men right here. The King of Dale is there. The Gondorian cavalry is continuing the surround on the line right here. the Harad units are starting to rout, seeing this huge Gondorian cavalry force. As you can see, it's completely overwhelming and overlapping this line, pouring into the Uruk front line and hitting them from the back as the men of Dale charge forward amongst this dead. I mean, just look at the ground right now. This entire ground is surrounded, completely surrounded by the amount of dead laying there, as we can see as we zoom out right now, just a fully glimpse at what is going on. More cavalry pouring in, cutting down the enemy Uruks. The enemy general has been slain now. This is going to be huge. The Gondorian cavalry is pushing through the back of the Uruk line, doing a huge amount of damage there, sending them back to the abyss. The word of men was not false this day. And this is the kind of thing I mean by just trying to create, you know, an interesting battle for you guys, so that even though we only have a set amount of factions at the moment, hopefully these battles are still going to be really interesting to you guys. So this is kind of what I'm hoping to create with my battles, fun scenarios like this where, you know, some of them do have twist endings. Sometimes, you know, if we play this battle again, Gondor might not come. So hopefully that kind of gives you guys you know, you're always guessing on what's going to happen and how these battles are going to turn out. But by the looks of it, the men of Gondor have managed to break upon the Uruk line along with the advance from the Dalian soldiers. Even though several of these Vineland swordsmen are getting chopped to pieces right now. I've just seen 6 or 7 die. However, their sacrifice is not in vain, is allowing the Gondorian cavalry to really be a nuisance here. And you've also got some more Dalian swordsmen and spearmen moving in. The hammer and anvil strikes continue to pour in and break the lines of Isengard. You can see the entire right flank has collapsed for Isengard, and they only have a few Uruks who are surrounded. They have nowhere to go, so routing seems almost folly for them to go ahead and do that. A mighty victory here. All hope was not lost. The fool's hope was there, but the men of Gondor stayed true to their word. They clearly got held up somewhere fighting an advance party or a rear guard, and they couldn't send a messenger, and they couldn't send a rider to let the men of Dale know that reinforcements were on the way. So let's end the battle. Victory for Dale and Gondor, a mighty alliance, and let's look at the kill. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and a massive thank you to Warrior Sparta as well for playing this battle with me. It was his idea, so make sure to go check out his channel. The link will be in the description down below. So yeah, my general unit get 368 kills. We didn't get to see that too much because I was kind of focused on going down and up the battle line, so we didn't really see that too much, but he did get some really nice hammer and anvil strikes. My spearmen in that defensive testudo killed a ton of men. My kills are going to be kind of somewhat inflated because a lot of these soldiers here, they have like 200 men in their units, so we're going to kind of have a few more kills than the normal. I mean, my Dalian swords here doing really well, my archers doing amazing as well, and even though this Vineland guard kind of got killed pretty quickly, they still did good. We look at the enemy forces, again, the AI just can't really use them that effective, so don't expect too many kills. And obviously when Warrior Sparta's cavalry turned up, they ran down a ton of the enemy forces and we managed to break them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure, as I said, to drop a like and a comment down below. Also, I hope you kind of liked that cinematic I kind of did midway through the battle when the Gondorian soldiers turned up. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and a few sound clips I put in as well. So give me ideas if you have any other ideas of scenarios I can do down below, and I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.